you don't have to worry about being so precise. Experiment, mess with the motion, let it be blurry. Mm-hmm. Let it be blurry and then make it black and white and call it art. Hi.
Good morning. Woo. So are we starting now?
Yeah, let's just get into it and see where it goes.
So this is Photography is Nothing. I'm Courtney McCracken.
And I'm Zach Dobson.
This is a podcast about photography.
And life.
And today we're going to be talking about candlelight photography.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about because tis the season.
Tis indeed. Indubitably. Oh, wait.
Huzzah!
Okay. Why are we talking about candlelight photography?
We're talking about candlelight photography for a number of reasons. First of all, it's dark season right now. It's dark so much in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, it's like 4 p.m.
It's real sad. We live in a terrible part of a time zone.
Right.
Where they have decided to make it dark. The powers that be, make it dark at like 4:45.
Yeah. Sunsets at like that time.
Yeah. I remember it being darker in Chicago. Does that make sense? Is that correctly?
Well, no, actually, Chicago's in a much worse position than we are because we're right next to them. And they're in Central. So we have the sunset at
Chicago
like 5 and their sunset's at like 4.
Yes. And I remember I worked a job in Chicago when we lived there that I didn't get done until 8 p.m. Literally half my workday was after dark.
Yeah.
And yet it was only 4 p.m. Like I took my lunch break and it was dusk.
Yes.
But I wasn't working like a night shift.
No.
But it felt like I was.
Yes.
And that was sad.
Yeah. You go to work in the dark. And you come home in the dark and spend all your good hours of the day.
Yeah, that's why jobs suck. So
at your job.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's dark here in Indiana.
Yeah.
And solstice is coming up.
Yes.
I love a solstice celebration.
Yeah.
And not coincidentally, every holiday that happens around this time of year stems from solstice. I hope that that's not news to anybody about your religion. So we are talking about I think we should talk about candlelight photography because it's very complicated. So there's another reason.
Yeah.
It's hard to do well.
It is.
I happen to be married to somebody who does it really well. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about because I think a lot of people would like to know how to do it.
Yeah.
Or do it and enjoy just kind of feeling good about themselves because they're good at it.
Right.
And either way, that'll be a great topic of discussion.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun to see the pictures. And then lastly, like speaking about religions that stem from paganism, I'm Catholic. You're Catholic.
Yep.
Sometimes I forget that. and we have a lot of candlelight kind of included in our mass.
That's year round.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a big part of our religion. So but especially like this time of year, we see a lot of like beautiful candlelight in Catholic masses and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's just a lot of pretty stuff going on.
Yeah.
Christmas, Hanukkah. So I think the first question would be, why would we want to be able to take pictures in candlelight?
Yeah. Well, I think, with a background in documentary photography, I always want to portray a scene in what it looked like to be there. And so when you're in scenes where it's fully lit by candles, you cannot use flash or it will not look like what it looked like to be there, what it felt like to be there, if that is your goal.
It will also be unpleasant to the people participating.
That was the second point, that I was thinking about, is that, yes, it is very disruptive in a dark setting. Flash really stands out when you're in the dark and somebody's flashing at you. It takes people out of the moment. Typically things that are candlelit are very like reverent. What are the words I'm looking for? Typically things that are candlelit are like somber or reverent or contemplative.
Contemplative?
I don't know which way you say it.
I'm pretty sure it's contemplative.
That's how I always said it, but then I think someone told me contemplative.
That can't be right.
I know. Contemplative.
What I think is that the candles are supposed to draw your attention to a certain, to reduce the noise kind of in the room, right?
Yeah.
And like draw your attention to a certain place.
Well,
so it has a calming, like quieting effect in a room or a space.
Right.
And so if you're going around like flashing and clicking, that's no good.
No. Yeah. And it's limiting what you can see. for the people who are in the room, kind of playing off of what you were saying, about being here, being in the moment, because it's not lighting up the full room. It's lighting up what's in, a short radius around the candles. So you're not focused on everything that's happening around you. You're focused on close range.
Right.
Like who's sitting around the table with you, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that something that I noticed when we were looking at some pictures, when I was looking for some pictures too, that I might like for you to talk about, was that a lot of pictures that you might think of as candlelight or whatever, we're not talking about, we are specifically talking about candlelight photography today. So not just any low light.
Candles with flames.
Right.
Not
Specific
LED
actual
candles.
Candlelight. So that adds a whole other, complexity to the situation because it's not predictable necessarily.
Yes.
It's a lot like when you talked about the hot air balloons, I'm realizing.
Right.
Because there's fire involved.
Yeah.
And fire is reacting in the environment. So flames could be moving or flickering and they might not work in a way that is
consistent.
Yeah, consistent or predictable.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to really be able to control your camera.
Right. Right.
And this is done in camera. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
In post with such low light conditions.
Yeah. I will say with technology now, it's becoming easier and easier every year to be able to do this pretty well with the modern technology, especially things like mirrorless cameras. When you're looking through an electronic viewfinder and you're seeing what the exposure is going to look like, that helps a lot. And newer cameras are able to focus in that low light much better than they used to be.
Okay.
So, that's something to consider too when you're looking at gear and what you might need for what you want to photograph if you're photographing in low light, and anyone who listens and you, I know I'm very pro technology as far as like using any benefits you can to help you get a great photo.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm all for it. I have both mirrorless cameras and DSLRs, and even on the DSLRs, I'll use the LCD screen to get a preview of the scene so I can really see it. Another part of the technology that can really help is when you're using that screen, a lot of times you can zoom in on the screen and manually focus.
Okay.
So focus can be hard to get in that low light, and you might have to resort to manual focus. And using that LCD screen, it'll give you a 5X or a 10X, so you can... The image you're taking stays the same. You're not zooming in, but you're viewing it closer, and you can adjust focus manually to make sure, typically you want somebody's eye to be in focus.
Okay.
So that's what I'm always aiming for. It gets difficult if somebody's an animated talker. But candlelight, darkness, people tend to slow down, so you don't usually have that problem as much.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like there's a scenario where someone's speaking really animatedly in the dark with candles.
Yeah.
And we're getting into like some spooky stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like imagining like a group of, like a secret society.
Yeah.
Is where I feel like that would happen.
Right.
When you're not going to be there taking those pictures.
Right.
There's not going to be pictures.
No documentation,
So, like,
no proof of it.
shut.
I want to add, as far as the technical stuff goes too, if you're not using that sort of technology as far as like a mirrorless camera, or your camera's not really good at focusing in the dark, you want to pick up when you're thinking about metering for the scene. You really want to try to meter on the people's faces. You can use a spot meter. Like when I used to rely heavily on spot meter, I would just go, spot, put it right on somebody's forehead and take a reading off of that as what I'm metering the scene for. You can also start to prep and test before people arrive, or if people are there, even though still, like by putting your hand in the spot where people will be, and take meters off your hand or calculate distances with focus.
Okay.
That way, so you're kind of preparing for the scene beforehand. You just have to remember, obviously, that as people move closer or further away from the light source, that's going to affect your exposure.
Sure.
But you tend to have a pretty good latitude.
something that I was thinking about too just now as you're talking about how to do this in camera is that you made a video like a few years ago about how to use your phone to do this. I think this is something a lot of people don't know is that you can change your exposure on your phone.
Yeah, no, that's true. So with your phone...
So if you don't have a camera...
Right.
in the scene, but you want to have pictures, there's a way to do this in your camera too, and it can pick up quite a bit.
Yeah, it does a really good job. And I will say the night mode or whatever they call it works pretty well quality-wise. But if people are moving a little bit, then it will affect that. But to what you're saying, so what you would do, so your phone, especially in a scene, it's going to try to expose for the whole scene. It's going to try to take an average for the whole scene. So the person who's in the candlelight is going to be too bright, and it's going to bring the shadows up.
And it's going to look unnatural.
And it's going to look unnatural. So the thing that you do is you click to focus on the person's face. That sets the focus and the exposure. But then what you can do from there is hold your finger and drag down, and it'll lower the exposure. So those are the two things you do with the phone to
you can
get
link
it
to that
closer.
video. I know that you did a TikTok about that like years ago.
Yeah, I'll have to find it.
Yeah.
But it's pretty straightforward. Touch where you want to focus, and then touch again and pull down on the screen.
There's like a little sun that shows up.
Yeah, and you'll see it like going down, and you'll see the scene darken overall. Yeah.
What does the night mode do? I thought the night mode was like some kind of AI thing.
That's a good question. I don't really know exactly how it works. I mean, it's kind of a long exposure.
I thought it was like filling space. Is it not?
I don't think it fills space. I think it lets more light in. It's doing a longer exposure, but then it's like kind of maybe compressing it into one image. So I would say, if anything, it's probably some kind of like HDR sort of thing.
Okay.
Where it's taking multiple exposures and kind of compressing it.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right.
I don't think it's actually filling in any information with AI or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. The last thing that I'll get into about the technical stuff, I mean, if you're doing photography and you want to do low light, you want a lens that has as wide of aperture as you can get, f2, f1.4, f1.2, anything around that range, because you're going to be photographing mostly at a wide open aperture, f1.4, and that gets into the whole bokeh low light thing that we talked about on the episode last week, how shooting in low light gives you a lot of bokeh because you're shooting at such wide apertures. So that's one consideration. And then the other is the ISO, because you're going to want to just embrace that you have to shoot at high ISO. Because as photographers, especially starting out in early digital, when you would get above like 400 ISO, maybe 800 ISO, the images would start to look pretty crappy. Now the cameras are really great. I mean, even going back as far as like 10, 12 years ago, you can have a camera where you can shoot at 3200, 6400, and it looks pretty good.
Okay.
So just kind of embracing that you're going to need to shoot at a higher ISO.
Okay.
Because you can use a slower shutter speed, but you don't want to get too slow, or the people are going to blur just through small movements. So, kind of keeping around like a 30th of a second if possible. A 15th is usually okay. I'm getting into the weeds here on the technical stuff.
I know. That's why I always like it, because you start to get like, you start saying a lot of things, and then you start smiling, and it's like you're having fun, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just here as a...
But we'll mention it. If people get...
Other people like it.
They do. And so, that's what the chapters are for. If you want to get more into the why. So, with photography, you've got the how, and you've got the why, and you've got who, what, where, when. But we like to focus primarily on the why.
Right.
So let's get into that.
Let's look at some pictures.
Yeah. Why don't we start with some of my pictures that I dug up here?
Let's do that. So we just went to this the other night. Not these pictures, though.
These are from past years.
Yeah, but we just went to this event. So we have a historical like theme park. I don't know what you call it. It's a museum of sorts. I think it's like a living museum is maybe like one of the things that they might describe it as. So like there's a Conner Prairie.
Conner Prairie in A Merry Prairie Holiday is their Christmas celebration.
Right, and they call it Prairie Town.
Prairie Town, and this is, I think, in the 1830s is when this is supposed to be.
It's really cool, and they have like and you can go during the day. Highly recommend Conner Prairie, just in general. But if you're ever in Indianapolis area. But they host a Christmas event through the month of December where they put on basically like it's Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Every night, and you get to go see what it's like to celebrate Christmas Eve in their era.
Yeah,
and you
so
visit
there's
all their homes.
You visit their homes. They're candlelit. There's fires in the fireplace. There's people. Obviously they're in period costumes and they're singing songs from the era, Christmas carols and things like that. And so you go into the homes and it is 100% candlelit inside the homes.
Right. And it's really lovely and it's fun. And so, like here we're looking through some pictures where they're in their dining room setting and they're in the parlor playing games and singing songs.
Yeah. And so the anything more than the available light would really ruin the whole vibe and ambiance.
Absolutely.
Especially because, I don't know. Especially nothing. It would just ruin the vibe and the ambiance.
So it's really vital to the experience that it's all fire or candle. There are some lanterns on the exteriors that
it's really for safety of visitors.
Right,
they have to have lighting around uneven terrain and things like that. But they, keep
inside
it as minimal as possible.
So this is all shot via available candlelight.
Yes. And you can see a lot more than you would expect.
Yeah.
And I even checked the exposures on these, and I was able to see, I was shooting mostly around 3200 ISO in these homes with my 24 millimeter f1.4. So shooting at f1.4 or with my 50 f1.4. So all of the photos are at 1.4.
Okay.
And the ISOs ranged between like 2500 and 6400. Mm-hmm. So you can see just how much, kind of detail and everything you can get in the images.
Now there you can see there are some string lights. There are some outside on the pathways.
Yeah, outside on the pathways. They have those kind of
reflection.
outdoor, lights that people like to string around their porches and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's a similar color.
Right.
To like candlelight, but that's one of the places where
you see
modern lighting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the photographing around campfires is really a similar deal. Mm-hmm. You just have a much brighter source to work with. Uh-huh. So the same principles apply though.
So now do you see any difference in when you're shooting? You always shoot in color, correct? Do you because I'm seeing some black and white, but you're just processing them for black and white if you're doing that. Yes. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do because when you're photographing, I always use raw files, which that's another thing that really helps you. You get a lot more latitude with exposure adjustments by shooting raw files, which most cameras have, and phones now have too. You can shoot a raw file in an iPhone.
That's bananas. That's going to use up all your storage.
It is, but maybe you want to switch to shooting raw files if you're going to be in low light. If you're
right.
Your casual photographer isn't going to do that.
Right.
But if you're like, I want to see how good of photos I can get on my phone,
sure.
Switch over to raw and set a timer on your phone for, the next day to make sure you switch back so you're not still shooting in raw. Or a couple hours.
Your whole family's going to say, my iCloud's not working.
Yeah, right? It's going to fill everything
That never
up.
happens to us.
Never.
Okay.
So, so the raw files, even if I'm using, like, let's say I can use my Fujifilm and set it to shoot in black and white, and I'm seeing black and white when I'm shooting. Mm-hmm. But if I'm shooting a raw file, it's going to be color anyways. Okay. It's only going to stay black and white if I'm shooting JPEG.
Okay.
Which I don't do because I like to have all that
information
room to make exposure adjustments.
Okay.
A lot of these you're seeing the light source in the photo. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you can see the candles on the piano when he's playing piano, and you can see the candles on the table when they're working at the table.
Right.
And I think that's something you can use to add a lot of depth and dimension to the image as well.
It helps set the scene.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like to get down on eye level with people. So seeing people's eyes, I almost always try to get people's eyes in the photos because that's where the connections are made.
Sure. Okay.
So getting down on their level, it also, I think, helps bring viewers into the frame. Like you're sitting there around the table
it feels
with the
like
people.
firsthand.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what all the olds want POV to be.
That's what the what?
The olds want
The old
POV.
people want POV to literally POV.
Be POV, but it's not anymore.
Yeah.
You got to get over it. Okay.
Yeah, we embrace that as content creators.
Mm-hmm. And of course, there's like a couple of different, just for viewers' sake, there's a few different scenes that we're going through. And I'll link to like some of your Merry Prairie posts so that you can like really see them if you're actually interested in Merry Prairie.
Yeah.
It's really lovely.
It is.
We go like almost every year.
Yeah.
So, okay. And so, yeah, there's a couple of different scenes. There's a woman who's traveling through from Germany who is Jewish that we saw in some of the pictures. And she teaches about Hanukkah and she's great. She's a great actor. And so it's the same woman every year.
Yeah.
And then there are some formerly enslaved people or children of formerly enslaved people that live in the prairie town and they talk about their experience.
Yeah.
And so it's really, they're really working. And then there's all different levels of like socioeconomic status that are represented throughout the village.
Yeah, so there's the working class and
there's the people, the landowners who are hosting the big party, but then everyone else is
doctor.
also...
He's in the doctor that's hosting the big party.
Oh, maybe.
Like Dr. Campbell.
Okay.
Isn't that his name?
No, I think the Whitakers are the main party.
Okay.
There is a doctor. No, maybe the Whitaker is the store. Anyways.
Yeah, so there's
Whitaker's
like the store. Yeah.
There's a store owner, and there's all these different people, and there's a blacksmith. Right. If you go during the day, there's lots and lots of people.
Yeah, there's blacksmith. There's the woodworker. There's you can
play games out, and there's a garden, like a community garden, and there's so much stuff to look through. It's really cool, and it's all like a working farm too.
Yeah,
they actually have animals and vegetables growing and things that they use, and they make real food while you walk through. And
they're cooking at this. They have
literally
chicken on the fire, like a rotisserie chicken.
And they have cookies and stuff, and our kids are always like, why don't we get cookies? And I'm like, they would have to make so many cookies. I think they just eat them. I think the actors eat them because they're literally baking and washing dishes and doing everything while you're going through.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
They have like a set of metal shelves that are closed on the back that they put in front of the fire to bake the cookies. Did you see that?
Yeah. It's really interesting. So it's very well done. And super fun to go to.
Yeah.
Okay. You see all the reflection, how they utilize the light. It's really interesting because they put it in front of mirrors and they put them in front of metal, tin.
I had not noticed that.
So they do such a fantastic job of utilizing their light throughout the space. And that's really interesting and useful because I think that we could all do more of that even with our modern light and make our spaces more cozy and...
They make all their own candles there.
Oh, and they make all the staff makes the candles while you're there, like during the day. In fact, sometimes they'll put your kids to work making the candles.
Yeah, right.
So, okay.
All right. So then the other thing we talked about were religious services.
Yes.
So these photos that I have are actually from Easter Vigil.
Oh, uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
But it's almost completely candlelit. There's some musicians that have lights on their music stands.
Sure.
But everybody in the... I was going to say crowd. Everybody in the audience.
It's not an audience. What is this?
The attendees of the service are all...
members of the parish.
Yeah, are all holding candles.
Sure.
During the service, which is taking place at night.
I have to be honest. I hate when the people in church are holding candles. There are always so many children at Catholic churches.
Yeah.
And children, if you don't know, in Catholic Mass, you're supposed to take your kids to Mass. There's not like somewhere else for your kids to go.
No, not really.
So that you can concentrate on like your own whatever. It's all about like your kids are there.
Yeah.
And so there's always like a million kids and they are holding their own candles and I hate it. Okay.
I remember standing on top of this wall to get a higher angle, like a half wall.
Sure, it's like a half wall, yeah.
Yeah, and just trying to do these long exposures. This might have been one of the rare times where I had a tripod.
I was going to say, it looks very clear. You must have had a tripod
Yeah,
or something.
I think so.
You do a really good job of use your ingenuity to create stabilization in your pictures.
Yeah, so...
because you don't like using tripods.
No, I don't. So let's talk about that a second.
Okay.
I do not like using tripods because they... slow me down significantly, limit my movement, and it's just another thing to carry around. It gets in the way of other people.
You really like to move
especially
around a lot.
Like
You're everywhere.
Well,
People
especially in like small spaces. Could you imagine me going in these little like Conner Prairie houses with a
Right,
tripod.
it'd be obnoxious.
It would be.
You're kind of like, I was just thinking, you're like Roy Kent. You're here, there, you're there, you're everywhere.
Yes, exactly.
And you're kind of grumpy too. It works.
I am a little grumpy.
It works.
You might not know that by
You
what I
wouldn't
put
know
on
that.
social media.
No, you wouldn't know that.
I am grumpy, but
I'm
it's
actually
okay.
nicer than I am on social media.
So I don't like using tripods. So what I do most of the time is things like wedge my camera against solid fixed objects like pillars, door frames, the backs of chairs,
You
tabletops.
taught me like elbows in.
Yeah, you really want it. You can stabilize yourself a lot by really putting your elbows against your chest and making sure to use, like now they're using the LCD screens on cameras to photograph a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes away a physical point of connection with your body that helps to stabilize.
Okay.
So I'll switch to the viewfinder mode and you push the camera up against your head. So you've got the 3 points of stabilization, your two elbows against your body, and then
So you're looking for 3 points.
Yeah.
And you can do it like kind of however. You also have like shown me like up against like a tree or a building.
Trees, buildings, yeah, any of those kinds of things. When you're photographing in the candlelight, and like I was saying, a lot of times you want to be at table height so you can see into people's eyes. That's the perfect opportunity to set your camera kind of like, even if you're just setting it, the base of it on the table and you're tilting it up, that goes a long way. If you're doing a really slow exposure, then sometimes I'll like tilt the camera up and put my hand under it in at like a different whatever kind of height I need to get, and I'll leave my hand there and I'll press. And the other thing you can do to make sure you're getting good photos when you're shooting with slower shutter speeds like that is I'll shoot in bursts of like 3 or 4 images.
Okay.
Because sometimes even just the simple act of pushing down on the camera makes the camera move.
Sure.
And your photo will be blurry. So it's almost like if you're doing like 3 photos, the first one's going to be a little bit blurry because you're pushing down. The second one, you're still... So it's going to be sharp, and then as you let off, the third one might be blurry too.
Okay. So bursts.
So bursts are really helpful with that.
There's a lot of good information in this podcast.
Yeah, a lot about photographing in low light.
Okay.
So so I'm always trying to find that stabilization.
Show us some more pictures.
Yeah, and then we've got just one more from this.
Oh yeah, I was
Now,
thinking of this one.
This one, there is a spot coming down from the ceiling, so there
Okay.
is a spotlight. You can see the altar boys there holding candles, and they're
looks
lit
so
by
cool,
the
though.
candles. I have another
incense.
one that's like tighter in that focuses more on like them. I'll show one of those too with the candles in front of people's faces. But this type of low light is really so great for high contrast. It really makes subjects stand out from the background because you've got this one soft point of light on their face and everything else falls out to dark almost immediately. So you get these really nice this depth and dimension from the light source being limited. So I like to embrace that too by giving plenty of space around the subjects to let the light fall to dark.
Okay.
So you get more of the shadows at the edges of the frame.
Yeah.
And it just makes for more contrast, more interest.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of a compositional thing that I'll do. That's what I pulled of mine.
Okay.
Should we look at yours or the other ones? Why don't we do yours?
Okay. So I picked a couple of pictures that I think were both National Geographic pictures because I am trying to, it's hard to find real pictures when you're just Googling around on the internet and to know for sure. And so I was relying upon National Geographic as a reliable source.
Yeah.
Of real photography.
That's true. Yeah. You got to be very aware of your
also,
sources.
a lot of it was like battery operated lights.
Well, yeah, I did the same thing. I did like a candlelight thing, and then it was showing. There's that thing I always get ads for where it's like classical music. Yeah. I was seeing pictures from that, but they're not real candles.
No, because like, how could they be?
Yeah.
Right? There's like 1,000 on stage with the musicians. Like that's obviously not real candles, but also, I mean, it's a great, whatever, lovely, but like.
For what we're talking about, it's
not a real, right.
Yeah.
It's not real candlelight.
No.
Okay. So I found a couple of pictures I wanted you to talk about. This photo is by Peter Essick from September 1994.
Yes.
And these are caves built into the snow, apparently. And it is a ceremony is an offering to the god of water to bring a plentiful rice harvest.
Yeah.
Is what the caption says. And I'm going to avoid mispronouncing all the Japanese words that I don't know how to say. So that is, but it's really neat because it kind of seems like basically they dug out.
They made mounds and then dug them
and then they
out.
became like a vigil, in any religion, right? We have this, these nice little votives that were created with it. So really beautiful.
It's an excellent photo. I love that it looks like it was taken during blue hour because it's mostly dark, but the snow itself has kind of this blue tone. And then you've got the really warm candlelight at different points throughout the photo. I like how it's all spread out and is in every part of the frame. And another thing that makes this image great is having the figure of the person right in the middle of the frame.
It just all feels so real, and it feels so pure. And anytime you see these like natural combinations of, opposing color wheel colors, it's just like so satisfying.
It is.
Yeah. So I think like what a neat, interesting photo. And I love it how it goes all the way to the edges of the frame.
Yeah.
It's just so simple, and it gives the feeling that these must have gone on for an expanse.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but
sure.
I just really love the purity kind of feeling of it.
I like how the exposure is really for the candles, because you could go the other way and do a longer exposure to get more of the snow and the person.
That wouldn't have been as interesting.
It wouldn't have been as interesting because all of these little caves would have been super bright, probably blown out. But so
also they're really the feature, right? That's the offering.
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
So that's the real subject.
That's a cool photo. And then this other one was great too. The photo is by Simon Norfolk. It was run in National Geographic, I believe in 2017 is when it was taken as well. That's when this was published. But this is in Jerusalem, the Holy Sepulchre, on the Saturday of Easter.
Yeah, so this is really beautiful. I like it how it's more of like a picture of the crowd rather than individuals. I think that's like, it has a really interesting effect to the viewer. And also, I was really curious. It seems like there must be, though, light coming in from some kind of dome or something. Yes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm wondering what's above the photographer. It could be open. It could be a dome. There could be...
I mean, if it's a Greek Orthodox church, I'm thinking there's probably a dome, but we could look it up.
Oh, there.
Yeah, so
that's where it is. Here's the other view. There's like an oculus in the top of the dome.
Yeah.
Letting light in. But it's hard to tell how much might be coming from that. It's not, this is probably in an evening. So it could be like low light outside.
But the top of all these are lit, right? So that means something because there's shadow under that.
Yes. Okay, that's a good point. So there's some sort of light coming in from the top.
What I thought was interesting about this is that the candlelight was so pronounced, but it seemed like there was other light still a part of it, which I wasn't sure how many pictures, I don't know, we were going to have that we're going to kind of have that combination.
Yeah, no, you're right. If the light was only coming from the candles down at the bottom, we wouldn't be seeing any more of this detail up here. So it is nice from that aspect because that there is some other light coming in because we get to see more of the building,
like architecture.
That they're
really,
in. Yeah, it's a beautiful photo.
And the Greek Orthodox Church has a lot of beautiful symbolism and ritual. A lot. It's
for
really
sure.
Cool. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay.
So I found a few too. One was this Flor Garduño photo. Again, it's a church. It's in Mexico. She's a Mexican photographer. This was taken in 1990. And it's got these really tall candles, and they almost look like they're kind of like flaring up. I can't tell if it's that or if it's just a long exposure. It's kind of hard to see.
Those are interesting candles.
Yeah.
They're like really long stems. Skinny.
Long and skinny candles.
Yeah, I wonder what the symbolism is.
And there's 3, 7. Oh, this is called something. The 7 something. There's 7 crucifixes in this room. There's just so much interesting like textures in this, because then you've got this black, like checkerboard kind of tile floor.
Yeah.
And then the candles are white, skinny, like standing up, reaching up towards the crucifix and Jesus on the cross.
Yeah, this is really interesting. It's a beautiful photo.
Yeah. This was the Day of the Dead in Brazil, 1966.
Mm-hmm.
So the expanse, what I like about this one is it gives a real sense of the scope of the place. It goes beyond just showing
Something up
one
close.
group of people up close. You do have these people in the foreground, which helps to, one, give it scale, and two, give a sense of what's happening at two of these grave sites. So you look at this and you see, a woman bending down, lighting a candle, and then you see behind her a family kind of sitting around and probably the kids moving a little bit. There's like 5 or 6 people here. And then, so you've got these two scenes, and then as the photo goes further away, you can tell that there's like hundreds of these grave sites, and you can kind of extrapolate that each of these scenes are being played out over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful photo.
It really is.
Very high contrast. There's almost no shadow detail in this at all. It's a cool picture. Did I say the photographer is Bruno Barbey? I also really liked this image, William Klein from 1955. This is like a society ball, I think, at the Waldorf Astoria.
Oh my gosh.
And it's blurry in like the best kind of way. That's something too. I thought I picked this so I could point out too, like, feel is so important in a photo. To me, like, feel is even more important than is it in focus. What does it feel like to be in that spot? And you just get this impression of, a guy in wearing black tie, and he looks like he's got a cigarette in his mouth, standing up there. And then there's a woman in between all these candles, like leaning in to the conversation. And it just has this great feel to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a real mood. So I think, too, you don't have to worry about being so precise. If you don't have a lens that's going to let you shoot at f1.4, like, just try some other stuff, experiment, mess with the motion, let it be blurry. Let it be blurry, and then make it black and white and call it art. So that's a cool one. I was trying to think if there's other. Going to more religious ceremonies, this is photographer Lu Nan, and he's photographing Catholics in China. And so these women are praying with their elderly relative. I think the caption said she was 89 and she's still living here. At first, when I first saw it, I wasn't sure if it was like praying over recently deceased, but she's elderly and ill, and kind of this intimacy. They're all leaning in very close to the candles. And it really puts the emphasis on their faces, and you can see the sort of what kind of feelings they might be having in the moment.
Yeah.
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 It's a beautiful image. It's from 1993.
Yeah. Well, that was some really interesting photos. I'd love to see. I feel like this would be a great opportunity for people to share with us some candlelight photography, because it is kind of hard to track down.
Right.
Yeah,
if you have a favorite image, a favorite photographer, if you want to share your own work, post it, tag me on Instagram. I'll take a look at your pictures.
Yeah. And of course, I don't know. I think this is a great episode. I think I cannot, one of these days I'm going to remember that I'm supposed to say at the top of the episode that if you are enjoying this podcast, please share it with your friends and family and strangers. Post it in your stories.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Because that support really helps us make more episodes.
Yeah.
And also be sure to like, subscribe, follow. All those things matter a lot. It sounds like it doesn't, like your one like doesn't make a difference, but it really does.
It really does.
And we would love to hear from you and what you'd like to hear more about. I think we have some really interesting episodes coming up.
Yeah, totally.
This winter. I'm excited about it. Anything else?
No, that's all.
On your end?
Nope.
Okay. Like, subscribe, follow.
Yep.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right. Yeah. Everything recorded.
Everything recorded.